Hey guys, welcome to Girl Meets Screen. My name is Norma, your host or whatever. As you can see by the title, we are talking Emily in Paris, seasons 1 and 2, because season 3 comes tomorrow. So, I wanted to get on here, give kind of like a little recap, my thoughts, my predictions, So, let's jump right in if you want to hear my thoughts. If you just want to recap seasons 1 and 2 before you watch 3, this is the place for you. So, we're going to start off with some honorable mentions. We have Julian and Luke, who are both Emily's co-workers. Julian, we love him, love his energy. He's very much like, I'm gonna tell you how I feel. I'm curious if that really is the French way, like the way they're all like, we just, say how we feel, and we work to live and not live to work and all that stuff. But anyways, yeah, so that's Julian. Doesn't like Emily in the beginning, right along with Sylvie. But she grows on him. Then he feels like she sabotaged him, but then they're okay again, so it's fine. And then we have Luke, who is like just all about freaking sex. It doesn't matter what product you give him to market, he's marketing it with sex. But we love that. He's so funny and just like strange, to say the least. But not too much to say about them. Predictions for them, I think they'll just keep being who they are in season 3. And my last two honorable mentions, we have Matthew and Antoine. So Matthew is the nephew of a designer that they represent throughout season 1 and 2. And him and Emily have a short little thing, but he ends it with her when he realizes she's in love with Gabriel. If you don't know what's going on, we'll get to Emily. We're saving the juicies for the laters. But just know, he left. We do see him a little bit after, just as the nephew to the guy, and like things going on, or not to Pierre, and things going on with Pierre. And then we have Antoine, who is a client of Savoir, and him and Sylvie. Sylvie is his mistress. He's married, but the wife knows about it. So Emily's friend is like explaining to her like how it works in France. And that it is pretty typical of like the wife to know about it, and it's more tolerated, not discussed. So yeah, but that ends. I think she realizes that she wants like more, not necessarily like, oh, I want to get married and white picket fence, but just like, I don't want to be doing a secret, because what ends up happening is like the wife gets CC'd on a trip that he was supposed to take with Sylvie, and she's like, he's surprising me with a trip, and then it's like their trip is done. And so that's when she was just like, enough is enough. This is dumb. So yeah. Anyways, back to Antoine. He's very arrogant, very full of himself. He ends up like investing in Gabriel's restaurant. Gabriel was going to leave because he couldn't afford to buy his boss's restaurant when his boss offered it to him. And Antoine ends up going into the deal with him. But they're butting heads because Antoine has a certain view and Gabriel has another view. Gabriel wants more of a restaurant vibe. Antoine wants more of a club vibe for the restaurant. But they meet in the middle. It's going to be a restaurant till 11 and a club after that. So, all good there with Antoine and Gabriel. And then Antoine kind of takes a backseat role as just a client once him and Sylvie are done. In the beginning, he's like trying to holla at Emily as like another mistress. And so Sylvie's all jealous. Emily is like, I am not about this, not interested, sir. Like, you're fine and all, but like, please stop. So that kind of ends as quickly as it began. But, that gets shut down very quickly. Moving right along to Madeline. She is Emily's boss from the America. And she's very much like Emily. It seems like Emily learned everything she knows from her, like her spirit with working. We see her in the first episode finding out she's pregnant, and that's how Emily ends up in Paris, because she was supposed to go and she couldn't. Then we see her in a few phone calls here and there, and then we finally see her at the end of season 2 coming to wreak havoc upon Savoir. She feels they're not working hard enough, especially Sylvie. Something weird's going on. They're not charging Antoine enough. And she kind of comes in and just starts knocking people at the knees, girl. So basically she's telling Sylvie like, we need to charge him more. Like, it's been years. Sylvie tries to say like, oh, like the old owner, they had a deal. But then when Madeline tries to talk to Antoine to say, like, look, like, we can't keep charging you this low rate. We got to charge you what we charging everybody. His wife kind of threatens her and is like, the real reason we have this rate is because that was his mistress. And now that she's not, suddenly the rates are going up. And any judge here would see that. And so Madeline is shooketh. So, yeah, Madeline comes in. Basically, she ends up, I'll talk more about that in Sylvie's little piece of this. But Madeline comes in. She basically ends up getting everyone to quit. Emily's up in the air. Like, she just wreaks havoc. And I feel like she was, like, right and wrong, where it's like she did have some practices that could help them. But at the same time, because, like, you know, there was a lot of ethical stuff that was, like, could create a mess. Like the situation with Sylvie and Antoine, where the wife then threatens to be like, we'll take you to court, baby, to keep our fee. So that's no bueno. But I also think she's wrong because she kind of came in very American and very like our way. But she kind of needed to remember that this is a firm in France. So she should listen to the people that are there that know what the people there want. You know, like, yes, it's a subsidiary of an American company, but it's in France for mostly people in France. You get what I'm saying. So anyways, I think she was wrong in that. She kind of was like, I don't care what y'all got to say. This is how I want it. And it's like, you kind of got to meet in the middle with that a little bit. So anyways, moving right along from Madeline. Prediction. It's a tough one because I have to get into Emily's prediction. But I don't think she's going to have too big of a role in season 3. I don't see that happening. But maybe. If she does, it'll be like as a competitor or someone who's trying to like one-up them. And then we have Mindy, who becomes Emily's best friend. And we are obsessed with her. She's from Shanghai, but she ran away because of an embarrassing singing audition thing. She's a nanny. We see her kind of stuck as a nanny because she's too afraid to like pursue the singing thing. But then she does. She meets a band. She sings at a drag show. She meets a band who takes her in as their singer. She falls in love with the guitarist. And then they find out who she is. Because, oh, sorry. In Shanghai, she's the zipper princess, which the dad has like this big zipper company, like super, super rich. They find out she's a zipper princess, but they kind of get judgy, and so they don't really give her the safe space to like explain what's going on really, which is that her dad cut her off because she didn't want to live the zipper king dream. So that falls apart for a bit. They're able to bring it back together. They get a gig at like a Chinese supper restaurant or something because of her notoriety from the embarrassment on the show. But she kills it, and her and Benoit, who is the guitarist she fell in love with, who was kind of like, maybe we should just keep this profesh. You know, they just are looking into each other's eyes as they're singing, and then they like realize their love again, and then they're good again. But I just love her character. I love how like authentic and honest she was, and how like she's a friend everyone would want, right? Where she was like poking fun at the things Emily was doing, but it was never from a place of judgment. It was never from a place of like, you're gross, you can never come back from that. Like, you know, how could you, like, just coming from a place of understanding of both sides of situations, which I tend to try to be, you know. So like in Emily's little love triangle situation, she's not just like, how could you, like, okay, now you know that's her boyfriend, back off. She's kind of like, well, I mean, if you love it, you know, like, she's like, you got to figure that out for you and not for everybody else. Like, major perfect best friend tones. We love us a Mindy. That's what I have to say. Next season, they better leave Mindy and Benoit alone. She better be living her dreams, start getting gigs here and there, and like they're rocking it, and then they become like a freaking power duo couple singing love songs. That's what I want for her, okay? Don't mess with Mindy in season 3. We don't need it. We got enough drama with Emily and Sylvie and everybody else. Let them be happy. Now we've got Sylvie. So Sylvie is like kind of Emily's boss. Apparently she's not, because Madeline is, but she's Emily's boss in France. We don't like her at first. She's very hard to like. We're not understanding why she's being like this towards Emily. But you know, it's just her way, I guess. So they grow a relationship. She can see Emily's value. Emily can see her value. And so, you know, it kind of becomes this good working relationship. Meanwhile, as I said, Sylvie has her affair with Antoine. That comes to an end when she realizes, like, I deserve a little bit more, a little bit, you know, more love. And I feel like that was thanks to Emily. I don't think she would have realized that without Emily there. But yeah, so that's Sylvie and Emily and Antoine. So now she is dating a younger photographer, and so she's kind of, you know, going through the motions of that relationship, dealing with the younger man thing and what people think and how they look. They like go to a restaurant and the lady's like, "What would your son like?" She's like, "My son will like me." Starts kissing him. Hilarious. But anyways, then when Madeline comes around and turns things upside down, Sylvie makes a plan to jump ship and peace out with her crew, with her clients. She ain't leaving you with nothing, baby. So yeah, she sells her shares of something to, turns out she had a husband, an estranged husband, but sells her to him to start a new firm. So she's gonna start a new firm. She takes Luke and Julian with her, and then later on they meet with Emily to basically tell her that they want to take her with them. They didn't tell her because they knew that she would try to fix it and try to like keep them in the company. So now Emily has a decision to make. But anyways, back to Sylvie. Yeah, so that is where we are with Sylvie. She's about to start her own company. I feel like she was a little bit stuck in the French ways of like, you know, men run the world, we live in it, and you kind of, you know, like take advantages where you can get them or whatever. And I think she's kind of jumped into like, that's still somewhat her mind frame, but she's also like, I can do this by myself, like I can kick butt, like we good type of thing. Camille. So Camille is a friend that Emily it's gonna get complicated here, guys, because this is like the love triangle and the love interests and the sandwich that is that. But Camille is a girl that Emily meets in the streets trying to buy some roses, and the girl speaks English and French, so she helps her out. They become friends. They start hanging out. Like they really like each other. Quickly find out that that is actually Gabriel's girlfriend. Emily didn't know Gabriel had a girlfriend. We'll get into Emily and Gabriel in a minute. But yeah, so basically, well, I guess we kind of have to talk about the three of them simultaneously because their stories are blended. So Gabriel is Emily's, one of Emily's like neighbors. He lives in the floor below hers. And so they meet, and he's very flirty, so you wouldn't think he had a girlfriend. But apparently that's like the French way. Which also, yeah, a lot of people can be naturally flirty. So it could be that he started off like just being himself, and then it like, you know, kind of shifted into something else. But anyways, yes. So they are neighbors. They start to get close. She's thinking, so Emily's thinking like there's something developing here, right? So she ends up kissing him, immediately finds out he has a girlfriend, and it's her really good friend. And so she's managing that. You know, liking him, but him having a girlfriend. He admits his feelings for her, and so everybody's like, what are we gonna do? Camille has no idea this whole time though. So meanwhile, Gabriel wants to buy the restaurant, doesn't have enough money, so he's not gonna buy it for now. He's like, later. Camille is trying to push him to let her family loan him the money, but he doesn't want that because he doesn't want that in their relationship. So that creates a rift there. And then Emily is kind of, you know, doing her own thing. We'll talk about Emily. So this all comes to a head because Gabriel decides he's gonna go back to like his hometown. I think Normandy is supposed to be his hometown because he's able to, I guess, buy a restaurant there, or like he's gonna own a restaurant there. So he's planning to go home. Him and Camille kind of break up because Camille's like, you'd rather move all the way home away from me than like take our help. And so they break up. He basically kind of tells Emily, you know, we broke up, like I'm leaving, whatever. And so I think Emily was just kind of like, okay, this is our chance to like act on this thing we have. So they act on it. But then the next day we find out that Antoine, as I said, is going to invest in Gabriel's restaurant. Gabriel is staying in Paris. So now they're like, well, crap. So Gabriel is like, he stayed for Emily. He's going to pursue Emily. Emily is like, oh my God, like we can't do any of this. We shouldn't have done that if you were staying. Like, you know, she's like, she's my friend. Absolutely not. Camille winds up finding out later on, reveals it to them, and everyone is in discourse. Just kidding. There's a huge rift between them. And what ends up happening is Camille's mom, did I say Emily ends up finding out? I meant Camille. But Camille's mom is like, do you love him? And she's like, sadly, I still do. And she's like, okay, so you have to do everything I say if you want to get him back, right? So now we got manipulations happening. Now what I'm trying to figure out with Camille is if she wanted the friendship with Emily, or if this is all just her listening to her mom. Does that make sense? Like did she want to forgive her and just felt like she couldn't because of what she did? And so this was like how she could forgive. I don't know. It's weird because she's a really good person. So I want to believe that this wasn't all her being like, I'll be manipulative to get my man back. And it was like, maybe if I listen to my mom, I can get my man back and keep my friend. I don't know. But basically, she comes back around. She's talking to Emily. She convinces her for them to make a pact that neither of them will go for Gabriel. But the whole time, she go for Gabriel. So Emily basically goes to Gabriel and is like, we can't do this. You know, I leave in a year anyways. Like, I'm not going to fall in love with you knowing that, like, I have to leave. So let's just stop here before anyone gets hurt. And he's like, whatever. So then they become good friends. Emily's helping him with his restaurant launching and opening because Antoine requests that help. We have Camille sneaking in little moments here and there of like helping Gabriel. The restaurant opening is a bit hectic, and so both Emily and Camille are like helping bring this thing together, right? And they do. And so, okay, so that's where we kind of are with Camille and Gabriel and Emily. So let's get into Emily. You know, she moves to Paris. Her boss is pregnant, so she has to go take over what her boss was going to do in Paris. The show is all about her learning curve of figuring out the French culture and meshing that with her American culture. She meets Mindy. They're really good friends. She meets Camille. So now she's having a good time, right? She's got friends in Paris. She's got love interest is in Paris. So once she finds out that Camille is actually Gabriel's girlfriend, she cuts that off, right? There's nothing there until they find out he's moving, and she decides to do that one last little ditch. Let's do this thing. She meets one guy who she's sleeping with. Turns out he's a total snob, so she breaks up with him. Then we have Matthew, as that situation doesn't work out because he tells her she loves Gabriel. Emily's having all these rifts in her personal life. She had a boyfriend in America, but they break up because he doesn't want to come visit her, and he just is like, she just needs to come home, and so she's like, forget you. And then so she's enjoying her life personally. There's some struggles, there's some trials and tribulations, but she's handling them really well and really positively. Work is like, you know, there's tough moments, but she's actually kicking butt at work. She's popular on social media. She's growing social followings. She's like, businesses are just loving her, which Sylvie hates in the beginning, but she grows to see the value in it. So yeah, that's her. She's kicking butt. So, you know, we sleep with Gabriel. We make up with Camille after she finds out that she slept with Gabriel. So now there's this pact, and she's like, so that's done. So then in her French class, she was taking a French class. She was supposed to move up to level 2. She doesn't because she's not quite there yet. In this French class, she meets Alfie. He becomes her partner. He's very like negative Nancy a little bit, realist as some people like to call it. And you know, he's there just kind of biding his time because he had to come work for a company. So they end up like, at first they like annoy each other, and then they end up liking each other, and then liking each other. And so they start dating, and she's really liking him. And you know, Camille is loving this because it's like even easier. I get Gabriel. But Camille is being very manipulative. So is her mama. You know, they're doing little jibs and jabs here. Emily is heading a commercial for the dad for the winery, and he's supposed to like pop the top off with a sword. He ends up like cutting his finger. The mom tries to play it to Gabriel like Emily made him do that, but actually the dad just loves doing that little trick. So, you know, there's some stuff going on there. All right, and so this all comes to a head at the last episode, right? So in the last episode, we have Sylvie basically announcing to Madeline, like, baby, you ain't play me. Like, I quit. We good. And then the others quit and they bounce. And they meet up with Emily to let her know they want her there. So Emily is trying to figure that out, right? Then Emily's trying to make a decision because she's either going to go back to Chicago after her year, like originally planned, or stay in Paris and join their company and, you know, build this company up with them. And so in talking to Mindy, Mindy's kind of like, girl, like, you got to start making decisions for you. Stop making decisions because of a friendship, because of a dumb manipulative pact. Like, you know, like, do your thing, girl. And so she's like, I have Alfie, but like, there are still these feelings for Gabriel. So she realizes, I think, that she has to like figure those out. So she goes to Gabriel, but Camille is there. Now, here's the interesting thing, right? She's talking to Gabriel at the door. The door's open, so you know Camille can hear her. And so she's like, listen, the real reason that, like, I said we couldn't be together, she's about to spill the beans on Camille. Like, she's about to snitch on the manipulations. And so Camille's like, oh, we could put the, you know, like, oh my God, you know you're here. Ah, like, let her know she's there so she doesn't spill the beans. Which I think, that's where I was like, so maybe she is enjoying you know, the manipulative schemy part of this, which I was hoping she didn't. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So then Emily, you know, she's like, oh, I'll see you guys later. Walks away all heartbroken. And then we end the season with her calling Sylvie and saying, I've made a decision. And that's where it ends. And we don't know what the decision is yet. We find out tomorrow. But anyways, here's what I think the decision is. I'm on the fence. I feel like there's two decisions it could be. I'm more leaning towards she agrees to be with the firm and she's gonna be with Alfie and try to make that work. But then Gabriel's gonna start the whole feelings thing, and it's basically gonna be like freaking season 2, 1 and 2 all over again. I don't know, of him like struggling, dating Camille, but loving Emily. But anyways, that's that over there. So I think there's that she might just be like, you know what, I'm just be happy with Alfie, make my little color-coded schedules and stuff that he was so like, I loved that. I like Alfie for her just because he's so like her, you know, like he likes who she is. Like he teases her, but he's like, you know, like be you. So we love that for her. And then the other alternative is she says like, I'm just going back to Chicago. I'm done with this place, you know? Or she realizes like the magic of it all and how she just has to live life the way she wants to live it. I don't know. Within that, it could be that like she's walking out and realizes what Camille did to her. So she's like, I'm gonna get my man back. You know, we don't know. We don't know what she gonna do. Those are all my thoughts for this upcoming season 3. I am so excited to watch, actually. I thought the show was gonna be corny. It's actually so good. So you should watch it if you haven't, even if you heard my recap. So you can fill in all the little details that aren't important enough for a recap, but like that you want to see. Like the video if you enjoyed. Comment your predictions. I want to know what you think is going to happen in season 3. Subscribe to my channel, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.